BTFU.
Welcome back to another week of No Rules NRL. Nat, how you pull up from our live event?
I'm a bit dusty. I'm very dusty, to be honest.
Would you say you're in the hurt locker?
I'm not in the hurt locker. I was in the Mongo locker Sunday morning when I walked out of my mate's kitchen. I was still standing in the kitchen with a freaking strainer on my head, talking shit. And then...
Do you reckon that's when you do your best work, with a strainer on
I get
head?
a good reception. I just want to... I didn't have the Uber app. I got someone in the house to book me an Uber. I didn't know who the person was that booked me the Uber. And they said, oh, the Uber's downstairs. I walked downstairs. It was pissing down rain. I saw an Indian guy sitting in a car. I thought, oh, there it is. I jumped in the car. I said, go, mate, take me. He's like, what? I said, just take me. I'm going to Queensland. He goes, this isn't your car. And I said, yeah, no, I need an Uber. This is my Uber. He goes, what name? And I didn't know the name. I said, I don't know. He goes, what's the PIN? I said, I don't know. I said, just take me. And then I lay back, and then for 5 minutes he said nothing. And he goes, please, sir, get out. And I was like, oh, I had to look behind. My Uber was sitting behind him the whole time. And my week has just followed like that. So a bit rough.
Some wild stories I hear, mate.
There were some good stories.
Yeah.
Great. Some good laughs. I haven't had a hit out for about 8 or 9 weeks, so I'll let loose. Well, I'm paying for it today. I paid for it the last few days. I didn't even get to go to two up. Un-Australian of me.
Oh, wow. No quick backup for you anymore.
No quick backup. I used to be like Terry Lamb. Now I'm hopeless. I'm hopeless. So anyway.
How are you, Gav? Welcome back.
Yeah, good, mate.
That's
nice
good.
and healthy.
Nice and healthy.
Couldn't make the Saturday, so yeah, I'm feeling fucking top of the
He's
world.
rocking the SEMO fitted shirt.
Yeah.
In honour of SEMO.
Look sharp.
Do you remember SEMO?
Pants are nice and tight. You're dressing to the left again.
Mate, I think they're Tom's trousers. My son's. My missus said, she said this morning, have you got Tom's trousers on? I said, fuck, they feel a bit tight around my ass. Yeah, so anyway, yeah.
Outstanding. All right, let's get through the 7. A lot of news. Jack Whiten's has been signed with South Sydney. How big a signing is he?
What have they signed him as centre? And if they've signed him as centre, why? Like, they've got 2 of the best defensive centres in the comp that score tries. Like, is he going to bring that much to them?
I can't see him being... Well, he's clearly not going to be 5'8" over Cody.
Mm-hmm. Is Cody going to move the halfback?
Could they switch in the half?
But no, Cody's an off-the-cuff 5'8". Mm-hmm. I think the teams that are successful have a good structured half and a good off-the-cuff 5'8".
So what's been the catalyst to him signing him? Who said what?
I
Who
know.
said,
I'm personally not the biggest fan.
I'd probably... Is it a Latrell? They're best mates, aren't they? I mean, has that been the catalyst?
I don't know if they're best mates. But
pulling him to...
For me, I'm
the
scratching
Souths?
my head thinking...
Yeah. He wants to
is
win
he
a
the
premiership. That's what he's saying. But, I mean, I don't know. Can you put Cody to half and Whiten to 5'8"?
I don't think that works. I think you just got to let Cody come do what he does when he does it. If you get Cody to do it all game, he's a bit like Latrell. If you ask him to do too much or get him to do anything too structured, it falls apart.
Who calls the plays, though? Does Cookie call the play? Because I can't see Elias calling the play too much. Like, for me, I'm just scratching my head. He's a good buy. He's a good buy for any side. But is he what South really need? I don't know.
Well, Tass goes, doesn't he?
Tass go to the wing?
Yeah, that's where he goes.
Yeah, he couldn't put Tass out the side. He's a great player.
So Johnson, how long's he got left?
Yeah, I think Johnson's a bit iffy. He doesn't do much anymore. He's not scoring the tries like he used to.
Yeah. So does Tass go to wing and Whiten to centre? I mean, that's
the only thing I can see.
Yeah, unless, I mean, Ilias is going to probably think now, probably got to play some good footy.
Does it apply pressure that you
play my best?
There's good footy in Ilias, but I don't know him that well as a junior. Like, is he a try scorer? Was he ever a try scorer? Doesn't look like a try scorer to me. And I like halfbacks that score tries. His defence is great, probably the best defensive halfback in the comp. But we talk about this a lot. Does he score tries?
No, I think he might be a little bit overawed around the players he's around him. You know, he's probably not coming out of his shell yet.
I just think as a half, you've got a great forward pack at South.
Yeah.
You've got these great creative players. It should be a beautiful platform for you to be playing good footy as a halfback.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, I really think Whiten would be fantastic at 5'8" from at 6. and Cody at half. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's what I'd try.
can
I'd
they?
try that.
Can they've just
Yeah,
done
that's
it with?
what you do.
They've just done it
would
with
you just
Kiri.
would you put Whiten at half and get him to direct the side around?
No, I think. I mean, look at Kiri. What they've just done at the Roosters, put him at
Yeah.
half, and he had his best game on the weekend with ball in hand. If he's got ball in hand more,
Maybe no limits of picking the side, picking the back line. Huh? The Rose boys might be picking the back line.
Yeah.
They're picking the back line.
They're picking the back line. Who knows?
All right, so we're not convinced it's the right signing.
I don't think it's a bad signing. I think
Yeah.
you'll work well with them, but
I think for
I
the
don't know.
place itself, for
Yeah.
South,
800,000.
Jesus, the supporters would love it,
Yeah.
wouldn't they? You know, he's still a quality footballer. I mean,
Great
he's
player.
on big money. You know, 800 grand.
Remember
a
the
year.
800 grand?
It's
They reckon
really-
he's taking a pay cut to go there, and they try and point the finger at poor Reese.
Oh, please.
Yeah.
Are we ever going to go through one of these without talking about
Mention
the
it.
Roosters?
No,
Never.
never.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, point 2, Victor Radley sin binning.
Yeah.
You'll
What-
probably get done again another half a dozen times before the year's out.
But like seriously, is that a head clash?
I am sick to death of the bunker. The bunker cannot get anything right. We're at home watching it.
Yeah.
You know, we don't get the opportunity to look at 4 or 5 or 6 different angles. They do, and they still can't get it right.
Yeah.
That was a head clash all day, every day. Even Tedesco, they were adamant that it was a head clash.
Yeah.
But it was a head clash. You've watched it. Like, I was at the game. They showed 3 angles. There's a blatant head clash.
So have we got a problem with this guy now that he's labelled? That he's going to be
Definitely.
labelled
Yeah.
a bit like Johnson. Remember Johnson that played for
South.
South
Head, yeah.
with the old head. He'd go in with his head when he
Yeah.
tackled.
Yeah.
And he got labelled. Then he started getting penalised.
Yeah.
The other one was the guy who played for St George with his knees. Went over to England. Had to go to
Yeah,
England.
lifts in.
Neil. Was he on his knees? Was it Neil? What is that?
Hey, you still got it. Hey, you
Just-
still got some of those brain cells
just.
are still there,
Not
mate,
many.
from Saturday.
Not many after Saturday.
Love it. So yeah, look, I mean, I really think that the bunker's got to start. We got to. You can't blame the ref. The ref's there. He sees a collision really quickly. He
Well, why
doesn't
can't
get
you blame the ref? Like, the ref should be able to see.
because
The ref
sometimes
should
you
be
don't
able to
get the
rule on it.
opportunity.
Yeah.
And I think it
Who
was
called
pulled
it,
up.
though?
I think it was
not-
pulled up
come
by
from,
the bunker.
Didn't it come from the bunker? It didn't come from him initially.
Yeah, it
It's
was-
gone on report because the bunker's called it.
It was pulled
like,
up
were
by
they
the bunker.
were they at the party here on the weekend? Like, obviously they're not
Oh.
seeing things right.
But poor old Victor, he actually said he didn't know where he was for the game. So that's not good for him either because
Yeah, he shouldn't go saying that.
he shouldn't
No.
say a word.
But I think he spends half of most
I think the
games
less
like
Victor
that.
says, the better.
Oh, please.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got to
Just
shut
keep
up.
leading with your head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, point 3, still on the Roosters. Does Manu stay at 5'8"?
Yes.
Definitely.
Definitely.
I'm surprised it took so long.
Yeah.
Yes.
So where does that?
You can't have half and 5'8" that are lucky to be 85 kilos each.
Yeah.
Bring them wet in this
In
comp.
this game.
They're just going to get steamrolled.
So what do you do with Sam Walker? Does he stay
I
in
don't know,
reserve
you-
grade?
You give him a year off and get him on the gear. Just
Send him to England like they used to.
You know?
Yeah. Well, at the
Go to
moment,
Leeds for a year and come back 95 kilos.
Yeah.
I think he's on the man shake. He's going backwards. He's not on the gear.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
well, he started the season 5 kilos heavier, but
Yeah.
he's so small.
What was he, 75 kilos?
No, I mean, sorry, 5 kilos heavier.
Yeah, so was he 75?
Yeah, he was tiny. Like,
But you think
that's
about Manu on the weekend, you think about Tedesco. I thought that freed up Tedesco a lot more because the thing is what you're doing with Manu as a defender, you're starting to question yourself on where you defend and who you defend.
Yeah. I
And then
thought there was-
Tedesco opened up.
There was definitely stages in that game when I was there where the attack looked to flow a lot better. And I think Kiri took ownership of the side. That was definitely Kiri's best game of the season.
Yeah.
Teddy played real well. I will say 2 things, though. Fuck the Dragons. They absolutely smashed Jared. They came out and put him on his back 3 times in a row. And
Yeah.
being the warrior that
Jack
he
Bird. Jack
Oh,
Bird took him
wow.
on quite a few times.
Yeah.
He played really
Didn't
good.
he?
Jack.
is. Their
Played
whole,
well.
mate, for them as well, Moses Sully. Wow.
Yeah.
He's
And
a
I-
big centre, isn't he?
He's such a big centre. And that's why Moga scored so many tries because
Yeah. Yeah.
he's just drawing players in the whole time because they couldn't contain him.
You like
And
to
then-
see him be consistent.
Oh,
You know
mate,
what I
and then
mean?
they got real scary because you've got Drew Hutchison, who's as fast as Gav.
Oh, please. I'm quick.
Next to Drew Hutchison, you
compared
are.
to Drew.
I might do a hamstring, but I'm quick.
Yeah.
But
Can St George back it up though? You know what I mean? I think that game's going to take a lot out of both those sides.
I think you and I called it 4 weeks before and said,
This is a game
can
they
they
can-
upset a team? And we said it could be that
Yeah,
game, and it
exactly.
almost happened.
so I think seeing those two young blokes play really well, Lamone
Yeah,
and Sloane at the back, I really think they'll take something out of that because I thought they were superb. The two of them, when they got going, and especially Sloane,
Sloane
I thought they were
looked,
brilliant.
mate, Sloane was so good, little flick passes. He's so elusive. He's got like a little bit of...
Hammer. It looks like the hammer.
Yeah, but you
The
know
hammer
what else
was
he
a similar
reminds?
build.
And he moves around like Pappenhausen a little bit.
Yeah,
Maybe not as good as Pap, but he's
I-
got a little bit of
Different
that
running
game.
style. He reminds me of the hammer. When the hammer first came, remember he was skinny as?
Yeah.
Now he's massive. You know what I mean? He's like a little bit England-esque, if that's a
Yeah,
word.
yeah.
You know, he's got that frame about
got
him.
that frame.
And I think you look at the shoulders on Sloane, he could grow into the same sort of a
Well, he did. He kind
So-
of looks like a baby giraffe. He hasn't filled
Yeah,
out yet.
I think
Exactly.
he's a star.
player.
I
in the
think he's going to be
making.
a very,
Sloane.
very good player. That the back end of that game, he looked very dangerous. Every time he had the ball, I was sitting on the edge of my seat going, "Oh fuck!"
Yeah, I reckon if I was St George, I'd be wrapping him up for the next 5 years.
He could destroy the Dogs this weekend.
Yeah.
Right. But my fear is that the Dogs are going to come out fresh, and I think that
The
they can
Dragons come out sore.
I think come out sore. That's my thought. I think
Yeah.
both teams going to come out sore, Dragons and Roosters.
I was on the phone
Yeah.
to Lukey. He goes, 1 point. This is the third week in a row where they've scored more points, the Dragons, and tries, and they haven't saluted with the goals. And it's cost them the game.
Yeah, it was. I just thought that was the rebirth of the Dragons. I just thought some of their players
Yeah.
that haven't been standing up, like Sully, Bird, these type DeBellin was really good. I thought he was tough in the middle.
Yeah.
These sort of players haven't really been playing at their best level.
I think Lowry's tough as.
Yeah, Lowry.
He's an
yeah.
unsung hero for the
Yeah.
Saints.
Yeah,
He puts it on every front row.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. He was great.
No,
He's a
they
good
were very
player.
solid. They stayed in it the whole
Yeah,
way. All right. Point 4. Who does Canberra go after to fill the 5'8" position?
They should go fishing in the UK again, see if they can jag another Sam Williams.
Yeah.
I haven't paid much attention to the Super League. I don't know what's on the market there, but they had a bit of success with him. So who else can they get here?
Well,
They go for Sam Walker.
Kyle Flanagan.
Because Canberra do have
Well,
really
Luke
good
Brooks.
cocktails. You get good cocktails
Luke
down in
Brooks.
Canberra. Remember the Canberra cocktails the Raiders were a green machine run when I was playing?
yeah,
Sensational. Huh? You put on 10 kilo everyone you have.
at the private bin.
Yep.
So who would you go? Would you go for Ilias?
Well, that's for me. If they're going to play Whiten at 5'8", and they trial Walker at half, I think Ely's
And make a play at him.
manager might be thinking, "Geez, where do we go?
Yeah.
What are we doing here?"
But
You know?
I think they love Ilias.
I think they love Ilias. The other thing is how much longer has Walker got? I'm not saying he's gone next year, but he's
Yeah.
not getting any younger.
Yeah, as we said, we think that Tass will go to the wing, and maybe Whiten to centre. So maybe not Elias, but I mean, look at Luke Brooks. How long is he lasting at the Tigers? Is that an option for Ricky? Would Ricky go down that path with
Wow.
Luke Brooks? I mean,
And hope what he goes to a new club and changes his whole game.
yeah, well, that's what Newcastle thought, didn't they?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Newcastle thought the same. So
Yeah.
there's not much out there on the market. If you
No,
have
there's not, is there?
So what do you do? Do you go for a gun young player coming through? Maybe that's another option. To look at a gun 5'8" half coming through.
Yeah, and try and blood one.
Because
from-
we know at Flegg level they haven't got much at the
Yeah.
moment. So there's not much coming through.
Right.
So they're going to have to find someone who they can maybe pay 400, 500
Hugo
for.
Savalas. Was
Yeah,
his name?
Hugo Savalas.
Hugo Savalas.
The
There you go.
aftershave.
He's got the good frame for it. He's a big half. He could be a big halfback.
Yeah. But
If
is
their talent scouts are out,
is he ready to play at the top level? Not sure.
I don't know. I'm only going off you and your son's predictions of young guns.
Yeah, well, maybe Hugo.
I reckon he's quite the footballer, and
Yeah.
he's definitely got the frame for it.
Yeah. I
Big step up from Flegg to.
he's a rooster, though. Let go of a rooster, mate.
Yeah, we'll see.
They don't
So
let him go. They don't let him
I don't
go.
know. The only other option is now going after the half at the Roosters. So that might be the
Yeah, I don't
the
think
other
anyone
option.
wants to sign Cole Flanagan either.
That just popped into my head too. I'm glad you said that.
Jeez, yeah, poor
Well,
kid.
we're happy to let go of Drew
I think he
Hutchison.
should go to England, Kyle.
Cole?
Yeah, 100%. Go to England, enjoy yourself, have some fun.
Was he going on holiday? Who's going to sign him?
The poor bugger, you're just hammering him.
Well, it worked for Jackson Hastings, didn't it? He went over
It
there
did.
for a bit and he came back.
100% it worked for Jackson Hastings. Yeah.
He fixed his game up a little bit. He's
I
playing
know a bloke
decent
that you
footy
can see
now.
in Amsterdam. If Kyle needs to see anyone in Amsterdam, I know a bloke you can see.
So what about, here's another one. Newcastle, Ponga's gone back to 5'8".
Yeah.
Okay. Hastings at half.
Yeah.
Is that the end of his half combination, Hastings' half combination, who's now on the bench? Played for Brisbane last. What's his bloody name?
I don't know. It's a tricky one, though, isn't it? Like,
Yeah, we need Luke here.
we do need Lukey. No, but look at what do you do? And how long, once again, does Ponga last with the head traumas? It's
Yeah, but see, I think Ponga's going to go to 5'8" now.
yeah.
If Lockie keeps playing the way he is at fullback, he's going to go to Lockie Miller, yeah.
Yeah.
He's going to go to 5'8".
Well, you can't.
sure.
I don't think you can waste Lockie Miller, can you? After the way he's playing.
No way.
And yeah, they want Ponga to get his hand on the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know really where Canberra goes. I don't know what halves are on the market that are real quality halves
Worth chasing.
worth chasing, because what were they offering? 1.2 million to Whiten, Canberra. So they've got plenty in the
There's plenty in
plenty
the
in the
bank.
bank. So
It's either that or they have a real good Mad Monday.
or do they go and pick 3 or 4 good players with that money they got? But I think they need a half.
course.
Desperately need a
And the
half.
problem is with Canberra, they've always got to pay overs as well because, let's be frank, no one wants to live in Canberra.
There's good fireworks and porn in Canberra, that's it.
Yeah. Well, I think porn's everywhere now.
Is it really? Is it really?
I'm not sure, mate. I might have to ask my son that. He might know.
All right, point
Go
5.
look at his wardrobe.
Well, I've got his pants on.
Oh, he's been in there.
Are the Warriors a genuine top 8 side?
I think so, depending on how they bounce back. This is a real test with injury this week, but I think Chance is only going to be out for 2 weeks, yeah?
Yep.
Harris
Tohu Harris are up for a bit.
out for a bit, and Jazz Tavaga, he's done his Achilles, so Achilles
Yeah,
is
they're
hard to
long-term.
recover from long-term
Oh,
injury.
Tavaga,
But
hasn't
you know
he
what?
been
They got
big?
Tomale, whatever his name is. He's a good player, and Josh Curran's a good player too. So
Josh Curran's outstanding.
Josh Curran's a really good player, and he can
Outstanding.
score a try. He scored more tries than Tohu Harris.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He comes on and nearly scores all the tries.
He's-
so
he's a fabulous player.
footballer.
He was player of the year last year for the Warriors, so
Yeah.
they're not losing anything at all.
I think they're probably losing the influence that
Harris.
that Harris has on the field with the side.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I think Josh will step up.
Yeah.
You know, Josh Curran.
I
he
really
seems to
think-
be that type.
The biggest loss is Tavanga. I thought him coming off the bench, he's been absolutely brilliant.
He's tough.
Yeah,
eh?
Mate,
he's
they were
so
very
good.
tough against
For a small
Melbourne.
front rower.
Oh, he's been so good though.
Yeah.
Yeah, just making
And passionate. He's
yardage.
very passionate.
Yeah.
You know, which goes a long way.
I really think though Webster's just got to. He's got him running really well.
Yeah.
This is the most consistent I've seen a Warriors team play
Yeah.
in a long time.
Yeah.
Since Daniel Anderson.
Yeah. Fuck, it'd be close to that. Can you remember last time you saw them play week out, week in? Good footy.
Daniel Anderson.
Well-
I was playing there. Daniel Anderson was a perfect coach for the Warriors, and I went there. He got a good mix. He got Ivan Cleary, Kev Campion, Justin Morgan, a couple others. He had a real good mix there, and he had a massive impact on them straight away. And he was strict as fuck.
Yeah.
And hard as, and training was hard as for him. So I haven't seen him play like that since then. That was that 2001,
Yeah.
something like that.
It's a couple of years ago.
I thought it was no frills footy through the middle.
Yeah.
But that's good for a Warriors side. They've got such a strong pack that But I've never seen them so disciplined
Yeah.
in the way they played that game on the weekend.
And they're playing
Even
tough.
though they lost, they
Yeah.
were disciplined in
Yeah.
the way they play.
Well, that's it. I
They-
think that's where the consistency's come because they're
Yeah.
showing discipline, which is something that's very rarely seen in the Warriors side.
Yeah.
And they've still got the flair of Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Injuries lost them the game on the weekend, and I thought there was a few. We do talk about discipline. There was a bit of ill discipline in some of their control of the ruck.
Yeah.
They lost the control of the ruck a bit, which got them sets of 6. Melbourne extra
Yeah.
sets of 6, and when Big Solomona come on.
Oh,
He
was
changed
dominant.
the game.
And I think Munster really stood up late as well and just got him on that roll. Melbourne were able just to claw back a little bit of that momentum. There's a few errors in the wet. And
Melbourne have got too many game changers,
yeah.
you know. So, and if they all, Munster did that run, nearly scored in the corner.
That
You
was
know,
huge.
Harry Grant usually always scores near the end of the game now.
He
He
always
looks that
did.
tired player and just
Oh, he
makes
did,
that.
didn't he?
Yeah, he scored at the end again. He's done it a
Dominant.
couple of times this year. And big Nuss, whatever they call him.
Yeah.
He's just Solomona, Sofa Solomona.
Oh, he's a machine.
Yeah.
He's an absolute freak. Isn't
He's the best front row in the game.
I love watching him now.
Yeah.
You know, he used to have his hands screwed on backwards. He's tightened them up a little bit. He's controlled his aggression a bit. So
Yeah.
he's going
He's
to
an
be a great
absolute
player.
I thought your man at fullback, Meaney, played really well.
He's a top player, man.
He played
I've rated
fantastic.
him for a long time. I think he's a very, very decent footy player.
Yeah, he was. That's one of the best games I've seen him play on the weekend.
Point number 6. This hurts a little bit, Gav. Your beloved Tigers. Can they win another game before they get their next bye?
Yeah, the poor buggers. I thought they were outstanding on the weekend. I thought their second half, the intent, the effort they showed, got them close to getting the points on the weekend. And I love the little runarounds too with Coruscant. You know,
Yeah.
if you notice, they probably did about 6 or 7 runarounds with Coruscant, just to change up the attack a little bit, put the defence into 2 minds.
Yeah, they're playing eyes up football a little bit more.
Yeah.
I think the coach just said, look, just take them on.
Yeah, have a crack. And Coruscant probably played his best game on the weekend. I thought he was really involved. And I think Tim's done a good job there in getting him more involved, more sort of a little bit wider of the ruck,
Yeah.
coming out of dummy half.
That's his
You
biggest
know.
asset when he's got a ball in hand, he's moving.
Yeah, and
Isn't it?
and
Yeah.
He's got quick feet.
that
over
was a
short
super
distance.
try that Brooks passed the cutout,
Yeah.
and Staines scored that try in the corner. I thought that was a well-constructed try.
Yeah.
And look,
So
I
the
don't
question
think they,
still lies.
I don't think they can. Unfortunately, I don't think they can. I think they put everything in that effort into the weekend, and then they got Penrith this weekend. I mean,
You got Penrith, you got the Dragons,
Yeah,
you got South. This is probably the game they can maybe win, is the Cowboys game.
yeah. Depending on where they're playing the Cowboys that week. You know, if it's up in North Queensland, well, I don't give them
Much
hope.
hope. Yeah, I
no.
agree.
So poor buggers. I just.
Could they go the whole season without winning a game?
Oh,
Is it
gee, where's
Depends
they
on
can beat the
injury.
Gold Coast.
possible? Then you beat the Titans.
I think they can beat the Titans. They're probably the team at the moment that are the most disappointing, especially
Yeah.
on the way they played on the weekend and lost that game. You know, that was ridiculous. That loss.
What do you think, Nat?
I think they'll win a game. I think they showed glimpses of what they're capable of. You know what I mean? They get a bit of confidence, get a bit of roll on against one of those lesser teams. I think they come. I think on the weekend was a real good. They showed some real good signs. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them
was
win.
Good. Bateman was strong
Yeah.
too.
I wouldn't be surprised to see them win a couple of games.
Yeah. All right, last point. Turbo re-injured again.
Yeah.
Is he ever going to be able to replicate that 2020 season?
I don't think he's hit top speed all year. He got run down by Big Stefano on the weekend, had to throw it back inside to Jerry Evans.
Yeah.
So I think he's been carrying.
Well, what do you do? Do you say, you know what? Let's just have 1 year off, heal. Because I know we sat down with Toby Rudolph and Liam Knight the other day, and you were talking to him about his injury. And one thing you said, some of those injuries prolonged your career.
Yeah, well,
Does he
for
just
me-
need to just have, don't do anything for 1 year, let your whole body recover?
I don't know about a year. I think the fans will blow up. There'll be too many repercussions for him having a year off. But I think, look, if he's struggling at the moment, give him 4 weeks off and just hope that someone steps up, you know, because
It's hard as well. You see
But
him on
unfortunately,
second
it's
on the
happening
ladder as
every
well.
year, isn't it?
But that's the
happening
thing.
every
But
year.
do you know what? Sometimes you have to. It's if you always try and patch something up with a little bit of sticky tape, it's
They'll
eventually
punch a kid.
Yeah, it's always going to fall apart.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to go. Well, you know what? We're going to bite the bullet. Let's give him a genuine 3 months off or something, or whatever it might be, and let him actually heal. Because then you might actually keep him for more than 4 games in a row.
So tell me, was it the year that he didn't play the first 6 rounds that he injured himself, his hamstring, and then he came back and just blitzed it for the rest of the season? I think he got
The golden boot.
I think he got the
Dally M.
the Dally M.
Yeah.
And he had a good 6 weeks off at the start, got his body right, came back, absolutely tore every team apart.
Yeah.
I said from day one when I went and watched him at 4 Pines,
Yep.
I said he was running on one leg. You could see that he wasn't at top speed.
Yeah.
And for me, I said he was good enough to be on the field because I need him, the presence of him on the field.
Yeah.
But right at the moment, what he's doing is groin injuries. He's going to have back injuries, and it's all coming from this leg. Has to be from his hammy.
I spoke to a sports scientist a while ago, and he said, "I'll give you 2 players that won't finish their career." He said Latrell Mitchell and Trebojevic, and he said purely from science. He said because they are so tall and they are so big, and he goes because they move so fast and they change angles very fast. He said their hamstrings and those joints are just not made to do it under that much weight. And it seems to happen to both of them. They seem to get those sort of injuries, especially in hammy. And he said another thing with NRL players, he goes, haven't got enough balance. Like so, sometimes the quad is a lot. It's got an imbalance to the hammy, and he goes that's putting pressure on one way.
We even saw Latrell. He tweaked his groin on the weekend.
Yeah.
You know, so you're spot on with.
You got
the
a big
size of
salmon
these
that big.
guys.
It's on some salmon on him.
He's a
You
monster.
know? Yeah, so
He's
you
a
can
big
understand.
man.
It's a good point you made there.
Yeah,
Man, you
very
should do a
good
bit of
point.
research lately, huh?
Yeah, no, hit me
Have you
head and
ever
remembered
thought
a few
about
things.
becoming a doctor?
No,
Sports-
I think I'd be a
sports
lawyer.
science?
I love arguing
Be a
too much.
gynecologist.
Yeah, I could do that.
Gyno.
All right, let's move on to the preview. Little kudos to you, Natty. Tip the round.
Tip the round, yeah. Happy with that. Didn't have a bet on it. Tip the round.
Always the way.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
See if I can do it again this week.
All right, let's kick it off. Cronulla Sharks, $1.31 at home against North Queensland Cowboys, $3.50.
Yeah.
I think this could be a tough game for the Sharks if they don't get up for it. I think the Cowboys might be a chance of an upset.
Wow, he's doing a gab straight up.
Doing a gav straight up. I think the Sharks will win, but I wouldn't be surprised to see an upset. I'll make that my possible upset. I'll make the Cowboys my
A possible upset.
Yeah.
So what's that? You're betting after 10 minutes?
Well, there's no other real upset there that I could pick, so that's what I'll
So what
pick.
do all the tipsters do this week? Do they just go, maybe not,
They
maybe
just
not?
stick solid with the Sharks, but they back the
Okay.
Cowboys at $3.50 for a little bit of value.
A
little bit of value.
Yeah.
So you're
Cronulla.
saying small play Cowboys.
Small play Cowboys.
Very small play.
Cronulla all the way for me.
Cronulla
I
all the
think
way.
at home.
Yeah.
I think it's raining too. Is it on Saturday or Friday night, that game?
I haven't
Let's
checked.
have a look.
Don't ask those sort of questions and show us up on camera.
Is it raining?
We've got Luke
Or do
here.
I look like Tim Bailey to you?
Oh, wait on.
Fucking hell. Yeah, otherwise you do these ones.
Well, if it rains, Cronulla win all the way. If it's dry, maybe North Queensland.
Okay.
So, no, I think Cronulla, the way they've been playing in the last couple of weeks, they had a bit of a hiccup with the Warriors, but I think they were strong last week.
Yeah, King Nico continues.
Oh, he's been playing really well, hasn't he?
Yeah.
All right.
Really, really well.
Parramatta Eels, $1.45 at home against the Newcastle Knights at $2.75.
Parramatta. Oh, here he is.
Oh, Gav.
Come on, Gav. Yes or no?
Simo's waiting.
Ponga second game in. Yeah, I'm going to go a little smoky on Newcastle
we go.
Knights.
Here it is.
Yeah.
I'm going to have
All
a
right.
crack at Newcastle. I think they've been playing really well.
Yeah.
Really solid footy.
Eels at home, though. They do love playing.
Yeah, they do
well,
love playing at home.
Eels at home, but they've just come off a trip from Darwin.
One thing that they do like as well are day games. They like it, and it's a night game, so that's probably a little bit of a drawback.
They've come off a pretty. That's a fairly big week turnaround too. Going to Darwin, the heat.
They've lost
What a
Regan
Sapman.
Campbell-Gillard too.
Yeah,
He's a big loss.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just thinking maybe that might be a little smoky for me. $2.75.
Alright.
The big Saifidi brothers might
Absolutely.
just destroy him without
And
Campbell-Gillard
Ponga,
there to take him on.
second game in. Yeah.
This is
Not bad.
probably.
I like it.
It's a shame because we've got a few injuries and a few outs. But Brisbane Broncos at home against South Sydney. So $2.05 the Broncos, $1.77 the Bunnies.
Give us the injuries.
You got suspensions. Mam's out due to suspension.
That's a massive out.
That's
So they
a
bring
massive
Walters
out.
in. Does Walters play 5'8"? Who plays 5'8"?
Yeah.
Well, that's what we talked about at the start of the year, didn't we? What would happen? If there's and Waters probably does come into 5'8", I would imagine.
That makes a big
They're-
difference to their side for me.
I think they've used Stags too at 5'8" in the past.
I think one thing I will mention is we've said that Cody Walker, more so Latrell, can sometimes go missing at certain points in big games. Both of them played enormous last week.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
really stepped up. When the game counted, Latrell really stepped up.
I thought Souths were enormous in that back 10, 15 minutes
Yeah.
against Penrith. I
They're a
just
proper
thought they were-
80-minute side.
well,
You think?
yeah, and they're a proper top four side.
Yeah.
When
And
they're playing
The
at
Duck-
number
but
40.
what about Brisbane? Are they now an 80-minute team?
I still like Brisbane. There's no doubt, but Mam makes a massive difference in that side.
Well,
Who's
this is-
tougher? Who's a tougher pack?
I like the young guns of Brisbane. I really do.
Right.
I love the they're just ferocious. They're young. There's no, there's no going backwards with the Brisbane Broncos forward pack.
Do you think the Payne Hustler's going to dominate the South pack the way he has been dominating
I
all the
think
other
he will.
packs? Yeah?
I think he will. Yeah.
Dry Arrow back again though.
Fly Arrow.
Jai was brilliant
He's
on
a
the
big
weekend. He was a
inclusion.
superstar on the
Fitter
weekend.
again.
He was great.
I can't see Payne having it all his way against South. I think South are a genuine tough
Well,
pack.
I think this is going to be a really good test for Brisbane. To show if they've got depth outside
Yep.
of their top 17 and doing it against obviously a good side again in South.
So who you picking?
Me?
Yeah.
No opinion yet. I'll wait for the weather.
Oh, please.
I'll stick with South.
I've got a, yeah.
I'm
They're
sticking
paying-
with South.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards South as well.
Yeah. Big win against Penrith.
All right. Canberra Raiders, $1.55 against the Dolphins, $2.45. What happens here? Can you go with your
Wow.
side? What about the comeback?
The comeback was annoying. What about on the chat?
On the
They're all
WhatsApp,
into
do you
me.
know how close I was writing in the WhatsApp group, mate? That I was
They
really going to
were
rev
all
you
over
up.
me. Top eight.
Yeah, I
And the
mentioned
old-
it briefly, and I
the
went to have
emoji
a,
laughs. you
Yeah,
know?
the emoji laugh. I was going to have a real big crack, and I went, imagine this team comes back. I didn't watch the second half until afterwards.
Yeah.
And I went, how the fuck did that happen?
It's the biggest win of all time. I think they're
I've just
saying
got
it's
it.
one of the
I'm still
biggest
putting
wins
it
of all
down to
time.
the Gold Coast for a low side.
Oh, terrible.
Absolute low side. but-
Absolutely terrible. They look like world beaters in the first half.
Yeah.
And, yeah. I think, though, looking at that game, the Dolphins really showed their grit
Yeah.
of what type of team they've been all year. Their defensive efforts in the second half were brilliant.
So
They
if
really
Canberra
stepped
come
up.
out and do what they did to the Broncos, they bash the Broncos, how will the Dolphins stand up with their grit?
So we're talking, it's in Canberra.
Yeah.
The magic
I
clap.
believe Canberra will win in Canberra against the Dolphins because the Dolphins, they're not used to it. They haven't experienced
Yeah.
that type of weather yet. And they come from sunny old Queensland.
Yeah, but they've got a lot of old players in the side. Surely most of the players in that side have been in
Yeah,
Canberra
there's been a
before.
few that played in Melbourne, which is a pretty cold, bloody,
Yeah.
low-end joint. So, but I think just Canberra, the only problem we've got to think about here, what's the impact of Jack Whiten leaving
Yeah,
going to do to the Raiders?
that I was going to bring that point up. It's an interesting one, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not sure the
Do you reckon
dynamic.
He's packed his bags and he's mentally gone.
Ready to go? No.
Mm.
No.
I don't
I don't
he's
think
that-
he'd do that to Ricky
that
or the
sort-
boys.
no.
He's been there too long to be that.
I don't think
he's
he's
that
that
type
style
of
of
bloke.
person.
Yeah.
I think you
that
wanna
he's
go
a
and
I think
win
he's a
it.
solid bloke.
Yeah.
He'll want to go to winner.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, he
I
want
think
to
the
pay
side probably
tribute.
even lift more for him, you know?
Yeah.
he want to pay tribute to Canberra. They've guided him from day one.
Yeah.
That's where he started his footy.
Yeah.
All right.
So Canberra for me.
Definitely Canberra for me. Manly Sea Eagles $1.50, Gold Coast $2.60. No turbo.
I think this is a game where the Gold Coast can just come out and just throw caution to the wind, and they're a good attacking side. And if Manly aren't defending, if Manly play that game that they played the other week when they just defended really poorly,
Yeah.
I think it could be a game that they could get their pants pulled down. That's just my feel.
I probably disagree a little bit. I think they're rocks and diamonds. They're diamonds at Four Pines, and they're rocks away from home. I haven't seen Manly anywhere near the form that they show at home.
Yeah.
So this being at home, I think Gold Coast coming off that loss last week, I think mentally that'll hurt them. Really hurt them. I don't see them coming back from that. I think that's gonna be a fairly deep wound for
Start
them.
of the end for them.
I think it's a deep wound.
Did they ever have a beginning?
Well, yeah. But
They're a very inconsistent side.
Yeah.
They've always, for the last few years, they've been a team that can attack, but they just don't defend.
Yeah.
They're just not a defensively sound side.
I'd have to stick with Manly, but I think this is a game that if they're not aiming up,
You think it could? You wouldn't be surprised to see an upset.
I wouldn't be surprised to see an upset.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Cherry Evans is going to do a number on him.
Oh, really? Cool.
All right, Gav. Moment of truth. Penrith Panthers $1.10. West Tigers $7.
Yeah. Make it
You made them
Can we make it $12? Or
Should they be 70 to 1? Could they be 70 to 1?
oh,
How
the poor team. They must be. I don't even know what Tim's strategy is this week against the Penrith side. So dominant at home.
I got a question. Would they be immoral against every reserve grade team?
Penrith?
I don't know. The West Tigers. If you dropped them in
Yeah.
a reserve grade, they played reserve grade. Would
Wow.
they beat every? Could you back them
I
comfortably?
don't know. I haven't seen the
Oh.
reserve grade
They are just
competition.
fierce.
Maybe West could be. I don't know. They keep on rotating their first grade sides. So half their first grade sides in the West side. So I'm not sure, but and look, Penrith. You know they don't like losing two in a row either.
Yeah.
No.
So this is probably a game.
And it was a game they almost held on to. Like they pretty much
Yeah.
had the game sewn up, and it was a bit of Cody magic. In
They'll
the
come out firing this game, unfortunately for the Tigers. I feel for them. Well, I do. I do feel for them because the poor buggers, they must be just so demoralised at the moment.
What's the scoreline?
Oh, geez. It's 13
Fair
plus.
Oh, that was brave. I don't know.
Oh, I don't want to be too hard.
Pick
on
the
them.
score.
You go.
Yeah, I'm putting it on you. Pick the score.
Oh, okay. 44-10.
Far
That
out.
was kind.
Where's your loyalty to the Tigers? What's wrong with you?
I've just been looking at the Penrith Panthers, mate. They are
I thought
too
the score was
good.
kind.
They're too good.
Yeah.
You can't bullshit.
No.
You know, you've got to be fucking.
All right, next
front.
game. This one could be tricky. New Zealand Warriors back at home up against the Chooks. So $2.75 the Warriors, $1.45 the Chooks.
Roosters. They look really good. And then they just sort of dropped away, but I think they'll put a number on.
There's a real determining point in that game. There was a disallowed try just before half time where Cheese had got his one elbow to the floor and threw it. I think the score would have gone to like 26-6.
Yeah.
Instead, the game ended up a lot closer at half time, and that they just seemed to. There's a few different decisions and not wrong decisions, but little things in that game that just kept the Dragons in. Otherwise, I think that game really could have been a blowout.
Yeah, it could have been. I'd be really concerned if I was Webbs. I'd be looking at that left side defence of Roosters.
Yeah.
I thought St George
Exposed them.
with players that aren't probably at the top of their game. Like, you know, okay, Sully had a good game.
Sully had a cracking game. But
I just think this is another smoky for me.
so you want to be on the Warriors?
Yeah,
Small
I'm going to
play
stay on the Warriors because when you said Curran comes into the side,
Yeah.
I don't think they lose anything with Curran.
Yeah.
And they're playing a really solid style of footy at the moment, and they're just waiting their time. They're biding their time to actually score those tries. Now, they led 18-6 against Melbourne at halftime in Melbourne. So...
They're playing a great brand
I
of
think
footy.
they're playing a really good
And they're
brand
back
of footy.
home, and they really lift at home. It's not a game I want to be betting in. I don't want to bet against
So that's
Central.
my double, actually, with the
Your
Knights.
Smokies.
Yeah, with the Knights. Yeah.
Beautiful. All right, last game in the round. St George Illawarra, $1.65. Canterbury Bulldogs, $2.25.
I just want to see the Dragons be consistent here.
Yeah.
You know, if they're consistent, they should win. But
They're knocking on the door, aren't they?
yeah,
Yeah, the young kids, if they can really step up this week with the old dogs in there.
yeah.
Yeah, I thought Moses played a real solid game for him. Almost made a big break right at the
Yeah,
end too.
yeah, he played well.
Play good.
Played
Yeah.
good footy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he played well. But Bird's the key to St George.
Yeah.
If he can back up and play another solid game like he did last week,
Yeah.
I think that frees up a lot of their footy.
Yeah.
When Bird starts playing some real, him and DeBellin.
Yeah.
And I don't think you got the best out of Lomax on the weekend. I didn't see much of him on the weekend.
No, I don't think they're playing more to the other side, weren't
Yeah, I
why.
didn't see much of him. So that's another player if he can fire. You know, I reckon St George will go
You're
well.
confident in that?
I'll stick with the Saints, but yeah, Dragons.
That's another week of No Rules NRL. Make sure you follow us and subscribe at btfu.com.au.